Hello YouTube and welcome to our 53rd Unity 3D tutorial. And last tutorial we finally completed our transform feature. So if I just drag that up here and you press T, it brings up this, you can transform between them, which was really cool. So like walk, stop, walk again. So it's really good. Yes, the wolf can fire too. And it can slow down time as well. So it's a really clever wolf apparently. So yeah, so we did that, but in this tutorial we are going to look at particles. Now particles are like, you look at flames in a game, and if you were to zoom into that particle so much you could see each pixel of it, you would notice that they all are actually pictures, and it's just a series of pictures blew up in a certain direction to make it look like something else. So it's quite difficult to get your head around, but as long as you've got the Unity check sheet next to you, you'll be able to like compare. So what I'm going to do first is show you an example of particles. So if you go to standard assets, and I'm just going to disable all this so we can see. Go somewhere nice, about here would do. And we're going to go to particles. And you've got different particles what you want, so you've got like dust, fire, legacy, you've got loads of different ones. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have a look at, say, smoke first. So you've got different ones, so all you do is click and drag. I'm going to put this fluffy smoke on. Click and drag, and as you can see, there's all the little pictures. If I put, like, click off it, you can see, like, press F, zoom in, you can see all the little pictures coming up, and this is of smoke, so if you have to click on it to view it, and it doesn't look all that good, but if you play it in game it does look a lot better, because you actually properly see it. As you can see, it looks like smoke or something. We'll look at another one. So we've got fireworks. If I just go up next to Shao Kahn and put it in front of him, I'll show you on camera. I'll put the game down here, so if you look at this you'll see it, but if we were to say put fireworks here, boom, as you can see it's a firework display thing. So we've got one there. What else have we got? We've got soap bubbles. So as you can see, bubbles are coming up, look. Excuse me. So we've got that one. Where's soap bubbles gone? Go away. What else we got? We got sparkles. Sparklers. There you go, look. And we're going to go with a little classic one, fire, because everybody loves fire. We've got flame and fire, so we'll go with fire for now. So look, fire, look. So something's on fire. We can put that on a car or something. You can see it starts to rise. You've got smoke. Looks really good. We'll try the flame for the last one. Look at that for a fireball. Now imagine that shooting towards you. Do it sideways. So how cool does that look then? We've got like a make it glow out. You've got a wall of fire. So it's important to know what makes up these characters. Well, all it basically is there's a lot of settings telling it to go somewhere, but it also is about a texture. So if we were to like say look at one of these, this flame isn't one, but the things inside it make it up. So as you can see, they've all got different ones. We've got the light source, which is just a light. So if we just look at this fire one, because that's easier, it's got three things. Excuse me. Don't like coughing. We've got outer core, which is scripted to come on at a certain time. We've got the actual smoke of it, which is here. So if we have a look at the fire here, we've got the outer core, which is here, which is the fire on the bottom. So if we like disable that one, we've got the inner core, which is the big fire, which if we disable that one, then we've got the actual smoke rising. So three objects, and put it back again. Three objects make it look really good, as you can see. So it's important to have a look at the features inside. So what we're going to do is first, I want it so when you click on it, it transforms your character, but using some like kind of smoke or something. So what we're going to do is double click Shao Kahn here and go to game object, create empty, and we'll create an empty game object inside him. We'll just call this smoke Particles. If you don't understand particles now, you'll understand it soon, don't worry. And we'll just drag it inside Shellcom, provided it's on top, yeah. So, we'll go into it. And there's two types of particles you can add. You can add the newer version called shrinking particles, which has loads of options and advanced menus, or you can have legacy particles, which is the old school version. I'm going to show you the legacy particles, but later in the tutorials we'll use the new one to show you some new stuff of that. So we're going to go to component effects and legacy particles. Now you need to add one of each of these. So the ellipsoid particle emitter and mesh particle emitter emits the particles in a certain shape. So if we have an ellipsoid, it'll emit them from a circle on the ground from where it begins, and then it'll emit it in whatever direction you push it to. The mesh one, you give it a mesh and it'll, like, say you wanted your character to be on fire, you'd use that and you'd set it to him and it'd look like a load of Shao Kahns were on fire. So that could be really good. But first we're going to add ellipsoid particle emitter. And we've got settings there, but we'll look at them in a minute. You go back to component effects and legacy particles. Now we need an animator. We've either got a particle animator, which just makes it animate, but with that one it can go through any object. It doesn't have box colliders or anything. Or you can have particle world collider, which bounces off objects. You'd think that one was good, but it's really processor heavy. So only use that for stuff like rain if you really need it, or snow or something, so it doesn't go through buildings. We're just going to use particle animator because it's going to be on the Shao Kahn, then it's going to disappear. So click that. It does look like a lot of settings, but when you nail down to it, it's really easy, so don't worry. Component effects and legacy particles again, and we just need a particle renderer, which I'll show you in a minute. So the emitter creates the particles, the animator controls them, and the renderer shows them on screen. So as you can see, we've added all three. If we double click it, we've got pink particles popping up. So it's okay, but not what we want. So we're going to hide these at the moment. So we've got emit and the ellipsoid particle emitter, and that turns it on and off to create new ones, as you can see. So we just drag it out of, in fact we'll keep it inside him. So the min size is the size of these cubes. So at the moment it's 0.1. Do we want bigger ones? Yeah, so we'll change the max size to, say, 3. So you can see it goes bigger. It randomizes between these two numbers. And same with energy and emission. It'll randomize between two numbers. So we've got a bigger one, which is quite good. 0.3, little big. We'll try 2. Yeah. So it looks really good at the moment. Kind of. It looks shocking. Don't know why I said that. The energy is how long each one of these lasts. So if you watch this one here, pop, pop. So you can see they're all popping. This max and min energy controls how long they last. If we set it to 50, you can see some of them, they will last forever. As you can see, it's building up now. We don't want that. Try not to mess with that unless you're using something you really want it. So we'll just keep it at 3 because it's disappearing. Looks really good. The min emission is how many of these should be on at once. At the moment it's 50, so every time one's destroyed, one comes back. And it stays at 50. You can set it to 100 if you want a more detailed one. People who use particles only in games, they'll use stuff like thousands, maybe even tens of thousands, to make it look really, really good. We're just going to keep it between 100 and 50 at the moment so it doesn't lag our system, because a lot of particles can lag. Because if you think about it, each one of these have to be rendered images. So render. It might not be so much on 100, but imagine if you've got every character set to 1. And every car kicking out smoke or something, it can become a lot. So we've got velocity, which we're not going to play with. We're not going to play with any of these velocities. And we're not going to play with any of these. We're going to skip these because they're not that good. Simulating world space, not so good. I mean, we don't need them. Simulating world space, that basically, if we move this now, as you can see, it stays with it. But if we were to click simulating world space and then move it, as you can see, it fades between it. So if you're using a fireball, you might want this. But if you're just using something standard like us, it's okay if you want him to follow you. So it's up to you which one you want. I'm just going to tick it. It makes it good. But if you have it last ages and you do it, you can cover your whole world with it. It's not good. One shot is if you want it to click and stay. Like so. So like a movie or something if you kind of think about it. So I don't want that one, so I'm going to tick it off. Now this ellipsoid array thing here is one what we want to play with. This is the size of it. So if you look, it's roughly a circle at the moment. So if we were to say change the x and z to 2 and 2, as you see, well, change the y to 2, sorry, and the z to 2, it gets bigger. But we've also created a bubble of it, which is good. But we want it bigger, don't we? So we'll change 4, 4, 4. So you can see we have a big smoke puff. Now the z-axis needs to be tucked down a bit. So I'm roughly creating the pile of smoke around him. It needs to be cover him though. Change the x to 2 again. So see, it covers him. We want it big on the y-axis so it goes smoke puff, you're here. So it looks really good. You can see it popping up here as well. Look. We'll just change it 3, 4, 3. That'll do. So that one, basically, you can mess with all features. If you've got the online documentation, you can look at it and it will tell you different parts of it. But if not, it does take you a while to get used to. But you can deactivate these as well to stop it doing stuff. See? So next we're going to go into a particle animator. First time I looked at this, I'm thinking the same thing as you did. This looks really complex. I'm never going to remember it. You remember it. Use it enough and you remember it. It's like programming. Trust me. Honestly. Coming from experience. But yeah, so particle animator. Do you want it to animate different colours? Yes, if you're using fireworks. Do we want it? We'll just set it all to grey. So grey. Bit dark of a grey. You won't notice it change colour because it hasn't actually got material textured yet. Some bit of white smoke, and just for fun it will like stick some black in there. There we go. So you won't notice anything yet, but when we do it you will see it. Rotation axis and local rotation axis makes it rotate around the world. Smoke, we don't need it so much, so we'll just leave it. Size grow, do you want it to grow when it moves? So if we just change it to 1, as you see it starts to grow. 1's a bit much, so we'll change it to 0.2. So it grows as it pops. So we can change it a bit bigger than that. It needs to completely cover Shao-Kahn eventually. So that's looking okay, so it's growing a bit. Round force, I don't know what that one is, I can't remember, so we're going to leave that. Force, this is one you will be playing with quite a lot. This basically is your rigid body, but you can control which way it forces it. So we want it, say we want it to move on the z-axis. If we zoom out and change the z-axis to 1, you can see it starts to push it, so like fire, and as you can see it's destroying because of the energy. If we turn the energy up, this one will go for longer. Say you want it to go behind him, what do? You just say -1. There you go. What about if you want it to go on the x-axis instead? Change it to 1. Moves on the x-axis. You can have 2 going at once if you like, so move diagonally. There you go, look. So you see, it's moving diagonally now. So it's really, really cool. You can change that if you want. I don't actually think you can change that in scripting. That's something you can't change. So, but smoke doesn't go left or right. It goes up. So we'll change it to up. I think smoke moves slower than that. So we'll just change it to 0.3. So you see, it slowly bubbles up, slowly goes. So it's looking quite good at the moment. Bit thick, but that'll do it. We'll sort that out. We need more particles in it first, so we're going to change the emission to 100. So you see, it's a bit bigger. That looks a bit better. So now we'll struggle to see Shao-Kahn when we're behind him. So we click transform, that'll pop up, and we'll struggle to see him. So we can go turn this off, and we've done all that one. Don't worry about so much about auto destruct. That basically just destroys them quicker. So yeah, so we'll not use that. And what we're going to do is finally go to particle renderer. You see some of these features you've seen in other things, but do you want it to cast shadows? No. Receive shadows? No. That'll boost up the processor power. Now materials, this is where we get rid of that awful pink texture. So click that and type in smoke. This is what I want. What we have fire, smoke, 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 smoke. We'll have some bright white smoke. So as you can see, it looks crap at the moment, but we can fix that. So, stretch particles, how do you want to stretch it? At the moment it billboards it, so it just stretches it and makes it face the character. We can stretch it, which looks a bit like that. Horizontal, so it means it's sideways. Vertical means it always faces up. We'll keep it at vertical because it looks quite good. That UV animation, that's for different stuff, so we'll leave that. You got your particle down here again, you can change it, but we're going to go back up to the particle emitter and we're going to change some features. So the size will bump up to 5. So you can see it's starting to look a bit more like smoke now. We probably should add more to it. 200. We want it to basically cover Shao Kahn. So let's see how that looks in game. So let's just click play and see if Shao Kahn's covered with smoke yet. There we go, so it's looking quite good. He's covering him a little bit. Can we move it back? Does that help? It's looking okay. Let's add some more to it. So let's make it last a tiny bit longer, so 3.2. As you can see, it'll go for a bit longer now. Let's increase the size again. So, increase the minimum size. What's it look like to see him? Can we see him? We can still basically see him a little bit. What else do we have? Let's change let's make it emit a little bit more. That's looking good. So now we struggle to see him. So what we can do is every time we click that button, we can make that show up. So it shows that, destroys it, it's done. So it'll look really, really cool. But these, you think you can make really, it doesn't look so good there. But then if you look at standard assets, particles, legacy particles here, this is the kind of stuff you can make with it. Boom. Look at that. Fire. That's made the same way we've done it, if you look. Particle animators look. Same way we've made it, exact same. So it does look really, really good. You can make good stuff with it. Explosion. Sparks. Spark, spark. You can use that for when it hits walls and stuff. Small flames. So you can make good stuff with it. I'm not exactly a professional at it, but we'll make this smoke a bit grayer. There you go. As you can see, it changed it a tiny bit. So as you can see, it looks quite good. So now we need a way to turn that on and off from our script. So the easiest way to do this is to go back to this and we'll create a new variable here quickly. We'll create it in textures, put it here, and we'll call this smoke particles, like so. This will be a game object, like so. What we can do is assign this to the particle, and then we can just deactivate it and activate it when we like. So it's really helpful. Wait till that loads. There we go. And we'll just assign that to that. Boom. The particles were a bit rushed through because I'm not exactly a professional at it, like I keep saying, but you can get used to it very, very quickly. So we've now assigned the smoke particles. So what we can do is, now that we've assigned it, is if we click it, we can deactivate it. Boom. There we go. Just hide all these a minute. And in here, so we want smoke particles to become active. We can just say game object active because it's just a parent. Look, I ain't got no children. What a sad person. But yeah, so where do we want it? Well, we click it quite a lot, don't we? So we could put it in every single one of these, but we'll just put it in every single one of these. So in here, we'll say, put it before this actually, so it starts. Smoke particles that game object active equals true. It might be enabled, it could be both. So we'll just paste that into there. So it makes them enabled. We mean active. Yes, we need a lowercase a. So change these back. What do we have now? Great. So now if we try it, the smoke particles won't be there when we play it. But then as soon as we press T and press a thing, we could make it boot up a bit faster, so we might insert a delay there soon, but not yet. So that part's up, but it keeps going. That's not what we want. We need to somehow deactivate it. We could just assign our bullet destroy script to it, but then it'd destroy it, and that's not what we want, because then it'd die. So what we could do is duplicate this, and we'll just call this object disabled. There we go. And if we go back to this, and instead of typing that, what we could do is type, what should we type? We'll just make a quick timer. So we'll type function update, and in here we'll type bullet life minus equals 1. So how long do we want it to last for? We'll say 100. So if, when we get right, if bullet life is less than 0, then we bullet life, when I spell it right, equals 100. So we reset it, and then game object dot active equals false. I can't spell. Active equals false. So we can assign that, but then if we add it to different things and change the timer, it will always reset back to 100, which isn't good. So we'll just duplicate this and call it max life, and we'll change this to object life. Object, yep. Put that in there, and there, and max life. We'll set it back to max life. So we assign these two variables. Make this a private so you can't edit it. So that one is a quick little script one we knocked up in a minute. How quick it was. Basically, it creates a variable, private variable, and another one. And this one, when it reaches below 0, it will deactivate the object. So really, really simple. So if we just attach this to this here, object disabled, and if we were to play that, as soon as that pops up, it'll count down from 100, then disappear. Simple as that. So if we press T and press wolf, starts. Does it tick down? There you go. So now we click Shelk on, it comes back on, get a bit, and it disappears. So it does work, but 100's a bit, it's not brilliant. It's 25. So let's try it again, last time. Shelk on. Gone. So as you can see, 25 is much better. What we can do is eventually make that smoke fade up and like put a delay on it so the character doesn't instantly transform. But yeah, so that's Particles basically covered. It isn't a professional coverage because it's not as easy. If you want any professional help, go to the Unity 3D documentation on Particle Emitter. That will help you a lot. Just Google Particle Emitter Unity and it'll come up with it. So thanks for watching. I hope you like this tutorial. It's not the best, but I'm not the best at particles, but it does help. So thanks for watching and see you later.